Back for England, it's Gareth Widdop, then it's Tom Briscoe, Chris Bridge, Michael Shenton and Ryan Hall. Halfbacks, Kevin Brown and Sam Tompkins. And in the forwards, James Graham, Kevin Sinfield, Jamie Peacock, an NRL second row of Gareth Ellis and Sam Burgess, and Sean O'Loughlin at loose forward. And on the bench, James Roby, Adrian Morley, 14 years of International Rugby League for Moz, Ben Westwood and Joel Tompkins, another debutant for the new coach, Steve McNamara. Now the French side has Constant Villegas at fullback, Nicolas Picamal, Cyril Gossard, Sebastien Raguin, Frederic Vacary, a real novice combination at half-back in Tony Gigot of the Catalan Dragons and Nicolas Munoz of Lesignan. In the forwards for France, David Ferriol, Gregory Muniz, Remy Casti, Olivier Elima, Jamil Fakir and Andrew Bentley. So some big guns still there for the French in the forwards. And on the bench, Julien Tuxegas, Matthew Griffey, Michael Simon and William Bartow, and the French coach, Bobby Goulding.
Yes, some unfamiliar names there to Super League viewers for the French, but you notice, as Bill so rightly said, the nucleus, indeed the French pack, belongs to the Catalan Dragons. Phil and Steve are here to watch as Steve McNamara's England regime gets underway. Phil, what are we expecting? Because it was a massive win in Toulouse 2 years ago. It was an even bigger win in Paris 12 months ago in this mid-season international for England. Same again on home soil?
Well, it's fascinating. I think you've got to take each day as it comes, but my mind also jumps forward 19 weeks today to England's first game in the Four Nations, which will be against New Zealand. So I'm watching it with one mind in how they play against France, and obviously hopefully to entertain us and scoring some good tries, but also looking at the combinations and the style of play, the habits that they're trying to form before they embark on their trip down under.
Well, of course, the last two campaigns as far as England were concerned were the Four Nations last year. Steve-O, we got to the final of that. We pulled up short, though, against the Aussies. And in the World Cup, well, there are varying degrees of adjectives you can use about the World Cup, but a lot of people say it was poor, and it was.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And I think that Steve McNamara, the most important factor about this selection is that every single player is in absolute wonderful form. No one has been selected on past glories. They have gone for people that are really hitting their straps. And that's why I fear for the French. They've had a problem with a lot of their injuries, and I just think that the power in the pack is going to be so strong. I just cannot see the French getting anywhere near us.
I'm fascinated to see how the number one for England, Gareth Widdop, plays. You know what, he's only played 2 first-team games in Australia in the NRL. It's interesting, you know, whether a player in this country would ever be selected for the international side having only played 2 first-team games. That's one we'll maybe never find out. But the full-back position in rugby league now is arguably one of the most important because of the strike that he's supposed to provide for the side, both individually in scoring tries and creating opportunities, and then defensively coordinating what they have to do to prevent the opposition from scoring. So it's a very involved role. He links to every single player in the side when they're having to defend. And when we look at Australia, sometimes the difference between the winners and the losers in the game of rugby league can be the class that the fullback brings. Gareth Widdop now playing under the guidance almost of Billy Slater, arguably the world's best fullback at Melbourne, and I'm fascinated to see what he brings to this side, having been here just less than a week.
Indeed so. Well, not only have they flown Gareth Widdop over, they have flown Sam Burgess and Gareth Ellis, who are the two you're looking at now. There's Burgess just stood up, and Gareth Ellis, who's sitting on the benches. A lot of people, Steve, have said to me, why are they wasting the money in bringing these two and Gareth Widdop across? It's vital, though, for Steve McNamara. This is the start of his generation.
Yeah,
this is the start of his regime.
And I'm pleased because he has not experimented. He wants to get off to a very, very good start. He wants to build towards the future. He's already talking about the World Cup in this country in 2013. And he's every right to feel that way. The amount of pace that this back three have are going to be a big problem. I do go along with you, Phil, in regards to the fact that positional-wise, it may be a little bit strange for Widdop. It may be a little bit too much for him. He'll be nervous. He's got to be very nervous. But the fact that they've got so much power in the forwards. Over the years, when it comes down to internationals, there's only one thing you do in the opening 10-15 minutes, and that is gain superiority by your big forwards. And boy, we have got a great pack. One of the best in the world. If you threw that team out tonight against Australia, even now, even though Steve McNamara has only had a few days to get them together, I think we would give both the New Zealanders and the Australians a good run. because of the power in that pack.
Well, it's a glorious day, and all the people who have come here, and I must say with the distractions that are going on elsewhere in the world at the moment, they should be congratulated, these people, for coming out and having a look at this England team. The pack is key to England, isn't it? Have we got the backs? If you look at the back division,
without trying to oversimplify the last 10 years of international rugby league, I do think that maybe we've struggled to break down Australia and New Zealand in attack with our backs, and probably more importantly, we've struggled to cope defensively. When they've passed the ball out wide, we've not quite had the right number of players in the right positions to stop them from scoring. And I'm going back now to the last trip down under in 2008 during the World Cup. And I think that's the most important thing. Australia and New Zealand, when we play them in 19 and 20 weeks' time from now, will move the ball wide to players running at pace. And you need to have enough players making the right decisions in defence out wide on the field. That's the start of it here tonight. I know against the French side they won't be tested at the same pace and intensity.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem.
It is a problem, but still, you have to start building up some rapport with the players inside and outside of you, and that starts here today in Leigh.
Well, it's the start of the New England regime under Steve McNamara. We have got Bobby Goulding, the French national coach, to talk to, but first of all, the England coach. Here's Steve talking to Bill Arthur.
Well, you'll be excited as your debutants.
Well, without a doubt, it's a great night for everybody involved. It's a great occasion. I think the crowd, the ground, the atmosphere, everything, you know, will suggest it's going to be a very good game of rugby league, and we're very much looking forward to it.
You know what to expect from certain characters in your side, but for the likes, well, for Gareth Widdop, Joel Tompkins and Kevin Brown, for you and them, it's an interesting night.
Yeah, we're looking for some continuity. There's no two ways about that. We've got that with a large part of the squad from last season, but we're looking for progression as well. I think we've got that in terms of some new faces coming in, and very excited about making the debuts tonight. I'm very excited for them there as well, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, everybody's written the French side off already, not least because of the injuries they've got, but there's still that core of Catalan forwards there, and one thing you can be guaranteed there, there's going to be a bit of fire, isn't it?
I think there's going to be some physicality in this game, without a doubt, and look, those French players across there, they'll put that blue jersey on and they'll come up pumped, fired up, you know, ready to go, and they'll play some decent rugby league there as well. We know we need to play well tonight. We need to play well for a number of reasons, and we intend to do so.
It's a long time between drinks for England. What's going to be? Are we going to see a major difference between the last England side and the Steve McNamara England side?
Well,
in terms of philosophy.
Yeah, a couple of slight changes, but I've said all along we've got a great foundation in place. You know, the progression is some of the new players who have come involved into our setup, and some of the little areas that we focus on at this moment in time in what is our build up to a very important Four Nations at the end of the year.
Bobby, there's so much motivation for your side, not least the fact that everybody's written you off.
Everybody wrote us off at Doncaster, Bill. But we come out, we had a great game plan, and for 70 minutes we were a better team. Two sendings off in the last 10 minutes really destroyed us, and you know, that's where England won last year. Simple as that.
So what can we expect from your side this evening?
Plenty of enthusiasm, plenty of commitment. People are in the shop window. A lot of the Catalan Dragons players are all up out of contract. So this is a time, and for the lads from Lesignan and Toulouse, they want to play in the big time. So this is their opportunity to go out and have a go against arguably the best, one of the best. Thank you, Bill.
Bobby Goulding's plans have been absolutely decimated by injury. There he is in the middle of his team, just delivering the final words of wisdom. It's his 5th match in charge, and he's at long odds to claim his first win internationally. The former Great Britain scrum half lost all 4 in 2009. And Steve McNamara, the England coach, of course, whose reign begins here by leading out Jamie Peacock and the rest of the boys. He's up against Bobby, and fleetingly they were teammates exactly 10 years ago at Wakefield. They played together 11 times in 2000. They've lost 6 consecutive internationals in the past 20 months of the French. Their last win was in Canberra in October 2008 in the World Cup in Australia. He's gearing up, is Bobby Goulding, though, for the 3 crucial European Cup matches coming the end of this season. The winners of that tournament will compete in the 2011 Four Nations up here in Europe, against the Irish on October the 9th, Scotland a week later, and Wales on October the 23rd. They are the 3 targets that Bobby Goulding has foremost in his mind right now, as the 2 sides come out behind their respective coaches. England have faced France 40 times previously, winning 31, drawing 2, losing only 7, the last of which was at Headingley in 1981. 3 Englishmen flown in from Australia to emphasise the fact that things are serious under the new coach from the very start. And Steve McNamara, himself a Great Britain international, he won 5 caps at under-21 level, 4 full caps and 3 England caps, and he was a replacement forward on the 1992 Lions tour to Australia and New Zealand. The new coach is hoping for a convincing win, as the one that Great Britain achieved at Lee 46 years ago against the French. They beat France 39-0 at the old Hilton Park ground on the 18th of March 1964. But it really is a glorious, glorious afternoon. The sun has been streaming down, the pitch is in magnificent condition. This excellent Lee Sports Village hosting an international for the very first time. We have the national anthems, of course, to sing our way through first of all. Martin Toll will be singing the national anthem of England, but first, the French national anthem. Well, that should have stirred the hearts of the French and the memories. They beat England 5-1 at Headingley in 1981, but they've lost 10 consecutive meetings since. Supporters at the Lee Sports Village in fine voice. And the crowd, shirt sleeve, and well, a really good turnout here. And let's hope they're given a treat by the English.
I think we can look forward to that, Eddie. The conditions are, you say, quite warm. Obviously, perhaps it will favour the French. Of course, they do get a little bit more sunshine, especially down in the south of France, but I just looked through this England lineup, and Steve McNamara must be extremely confident. The power and the strength in the forwards coupled alongside, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the skill factor of the standoff Kevin Brown. What an opportunity for this fella, and he'll be looking for the 2 big second rowers, Sam Burgess and Gareth Ellis. Look out for them just linking from those wonderful passes from Kevin Brown.
Leon Williamson, the New Zealand referee, the referee of last year's Four Nations final, gets us underway here at the Lee Sports Village. And it's going to be physical early on. Spoke to Bobby Goulding around about lunchtime today as he was going into the final team meeting. He was nervous, and he knows the pressure is on.
Well, they've got to get right into the face of the English camp. They've got to make sure that they make the impact, and so far so good, and they've lost possession. That was a good hit there. Wonderful work by Jamel Fakir.
So Gregory Muniz was the man who had the ball, and he played it, and it's now an opportunity for the French to really test this English defence if they possibly can. Here is Ferriol again. It's a Catalan Dragons pack, 8-13. And there's plenty of other Catalan Dragons from the Super League who are out there as well. And the French trying to play with a little bit of flair if they can. That's Villegas, the Toulouse fullback. He plays the ball then to Munoz, and he drives it into Olivier Ellemer, the skipper.
Interested to see how the French half-back combination, Gigot and Munoz, can they really get it together? That's a nice little dummy, though, by Gigot, but they've lost possession. Big fella Sam Burgess very quick onto that. Not the best offload.
Good tackle by Kevin Sinfield. And Gareth Ellis gets to his feet, plays the ball to Sinfield. Here comes Jamie Peacock. He was counted out of this international about 3 or 4 weeks ago when he was injured for the Leeds Rhinos. But boy, what a quick healer he is, and what quick hands that was. Burgess brilliantly away. And here now goes Chris Bridge. Inside it goes to Gareth Widdop. And Gareth Widdop on his debut comes up with the first try for England, his first international try, marking his debut. Just 2 appearances in the NRL for Melbourne Storm. May the 30th, full-back against the Bulldogs. That was his last appearance. A try and 3 goals in the absence of the great Billy Slater. Well, it was worth every penny on the airfare, and Gareth Widdop, what a fantastic start to his international career.
Well, it was started with a debut boy and finished with one also. The pass from Kevin Brown was sensational. And what about the one-handed offload there by the big fella, Burgess? Bridge back on the inside and the full back. That's how clever this guy is. He reads it exceptionally well. When it's going out there on the right-hand side, the full-back Widdop is herring down the centre, and Bridge kept his cool. Boy, what a moment for this guy.
What about that for a first touch in International Rugby League? Gareth Widdop with the try. And Kevin Sinfield. Sinfield adds the extras. He's a terrific goal kicker, Kevin Sinfield, as well as an all-round organiser, the Leeds captain. It's England 6, France 0. What a start.
Certainly was, but the quality of this pass from Brown, and then the big fella, look at that. Hasn't he come on a bundle since he'd been playing down under, and back on the inside. Don't know much about him in this country, but down in Australia they know he's a star of the future.
And he was beaming all over his face when he took that pass, and he went over for the try. Terrific start for him, terrific start for England, Phil.
What would be a great test for England here is to see how many chances they can convert into tries. They've had 1 so far, and they came up with the first 4 points. At the international level, it's about converting the chances you get when they're presented, and they've done it well. Can they do it now for the remaining 75 minutes?
I read on the websites today, Terry, that the former England coach Tony Smith was just saying, a little bit critical of this fixture, that the French really have to muscle up today, otherwise it might be time to call a halt. What do you think?
Well, he was saying that he'd like to see a lot of the Super League-based Australians or Kiwis playing in an Anzac game, and you've got to say that even though there's a number of Catalan players playing in this game, how many of them are actually starters? How many quality players have we got on show tonight? And there's the mistake. That will not help the French side.
It was a towering kick from Sam Tompkins. The height he got on that, and Pete Kamal just could not take it in.
And they're the right tactics, aren't they? You can see the sun and the shadows. Landing through, it would have been, well, not actually looking at the sun, he was running away with it, but you can see that he lost it completely. Nicholas Picamal.
About 3.5 seconds that ball was hanging in the air, and he could also, of course, hear the England forwards charging at him. It's scrum head and feed to England. Here is Kevin Brown. Brown then gets it to Widdop, and Widdop gets it away to Burgess. Well, that's the second try. Great ball. Tom Briscoe, I beg your pardon. Tom Briscoe, not Burgess. Tom Briscoe with the second try. The Hull winger, leading try scorer for Hull FC, Briscoe.
This French outfit are all at sea in defence. It was very simple movement by the English boys. Very simple indeed. In fact, far too easy. Vakary and Ragan, and it all came about by the error from Nicholas Picamal and from the resulting scrum. Just basic, quick hands. Brown again. See how the dummy runner came back on the inside. That was Bridge, and you could see how Widdop just linked in. It was a wonderful crisscross. Watch Bridge come through on the inside here, and then it causes all sorts of problems, gets the overlap, and Tom Briscoe finished it off with style.
Well, not the best start for Bobby Goulding, a little shake of the head. He didn't want a start like this.
It's a really good example, that try, though, how hard it is to defend out wide in rugby league. If you're not sure what the people inside are doing, as Vakary wasn't, then you can see how you can get drawn into the ball. There's sometimes a magnet inside that white ball that draws players towards it, when really the better thing to do is to wait for that inside support. Still, very easy sat up here.
And this is Sinfield with the second conversion attempt, and he's kicked another. Tremendous kicker of the ball is Kevin Sinfield. Third appearance at hooker for England. Doesn't seem to have affected his kicking skills one iota.
There you see the difference with good off the ball running. The dummy there, you could see how Ragan has just got in, and it's far too late. As soon as Vakary has to come in for the centre.
You're right, Steve. On this left-hand side, they're really struggling.
I think the Sambur just let that one go, didn't he? Thought it was on the way out, and actually it came off his foot, as it turned out to. It's head and feed at the scrum to the French.
Well, he shakes his head, doesn't he? Sorry, Terry, but he shakes his head on that. He should really have taken that. It was an easy catch for him.
So the scrum is fed by Munoz, and this now is Gigot who gets the ball away. Well, a first test coming up maybe of the English defence as Gossard gets to his feet. That's Ferriol again. He will drive it in. Andrew Bentley. And Ferriol once more on the charge. Good run from the big prop forward.
Now will Muniz go on his own? He's in a dummy half there.
Muniz is there. He flicks the ball back to Gigot. Here's Jamal Fakir. He's heading off to rugby union at the end of this season, Jamal Fakir, but he is here in the French test squad today. Ball played inside to Remy Castet of the Catalan Dragons. England muscling up in defence. That's the fourth tackle completed. Back it comes again to the scrum half Munoz, trying to build something here. And the winger, Vakary, is bundled into touch.
You know, the referee didn't really help the French side. He shouted 4 at the play of the ball, changed his mind to 5 when they'd already set off. And as you see, he was pushed over the touchline, but I think the French players may have thought they'd had one more play left in that set.
Well, it was a bit disappointing there because it was a poor pass. If it had been a very quick pass, a little bit higher, I think Vakary would have been able to squeeze in. And in the end, he had to dive for it. It was dipping towards the ground.
England running purposely forward when the ball is in their possession. You have to have some sympathy with the view of Tony Smith, to be fair, because early on in this match it really did look as though this might just be developing into a training run for England. But the Catalan Dragons are in Super League to try and drag the French international game forward. And the other big question mark, of course, about a possible Anzac meeting is, would the Super League clubs let their Australian and Kiwi stars away?
It'll be very, very difficult. Of course, we've got so many over in this country, as you say, Andy, but maybe in other nationalities. But the thing is, we have to keep going with the French connection. We have to try to get them to get better and better each year. Otherwise, we can't just let them go and fold away.
Steve, I agree with you there, but they've only got 21 elite players to pick from who play for Catalan. Now, that's not enough. You come with injuries. Also, you look in the Toulouse side, they've got 17 players to pick from. It is just not enough.
There's a Super League match, of course, taking place at the same time as this, and Leeds are 10-0 up against Harlequins after 25 minutes at the Twickenham Stoop. Leeds with a much weakened side because of the international calls here. Here's the first penalty for the French, and the first penalty of the match.
Back here, no!
A drive in here by Olivier Ellemer, the French skipper. Picked up one-handed by Munoz. He looks for the runners. It's Casti. Into dummy half quickly goes Gregory Muniz. Back it comes to Tony Gigot. And then off the hands of the full-back. Went backwards though. Was that a knock-on?
Yes,
that was a knock-on.
Yeah.
It wasn't off Vilgas.
Picamal just got a fingertip to that. Well, very constructed attacking play by the French at the moment. And that's a bad error. It wasn't the best pass at all. And the only chance that the French have, in my opinion, is to try to slow the game down, make sure that the kicking chase is good, and try to force England into some errors. Not easy, though.
Well, they showed great courage and no little commitment in the Four Nations tournament against England at Doncaster, to be fair to them.
Quicker than that, Ollie.
That was last October. They led 12-4 at half-time, remember, but they eventually lost 34 points to 12 in the end.
Two. Move. White.
Sinfield again is at dummy half. Taking him on himself this time, but Casti and Ellimer are there to halt him this time on that tackle. Now it's with Peacock. They go wide and they find O'Loughlin. And O'Loughlin,
Great tackle.
The pass was just dipping in front of Shenton. Peacock was on him in a flash. This is Graham.
Nice build-up by England. Nice and steady, good forwards. Surely this will get some height on it as well.
Back it comes to Tompkins. Up it goes. That obviously is the tactic from Steve McNamara. Hoist it high. Test this full-back. Comes back on England's side with Tompkins. There's nobody out wide. The ball is still alive with England. Here's Gareth Ellis. And a little grubber kick through, but nothing there, and the French defence are able to pick that up quite easily from Gareth Widdop's kick.
Not a bad effort as well by Gareth Widdop. England, of course, with a 12-point lead, they'll feel confident enough to keep the ball alive. And that's going to be the biggest problem for the French forwards as well, is can they get over the advantage line? Look how quick England are getting off the mark. Not just one or two, they're hunting as a pack. And this is the reason why Steve McNamara, the New England coach, wanted to bring his best side. That's why he brought them over from Australia, Ellis and Burgess.
Well picked up that by Tom Briscoe. That was heading for a 40-20, but Briscoe managed to stop that and stay in the field of play. Let's go down to Bill.
Eddie, a good crowd here tonight, probably a better attendance than the organisers might have been worried about, with certain other attractions taking place. But Gary Widdop among the crowd here tonight, and proud father watching son Gareth in action, and the pair of them, of course, have come all the way. Well, in actual fact, Gareth has come, of course, from Melbourne, but Gary Widdop has come even further from Perth, where he now lives. Gary making his mark with Melbourne Storm, of course. So it's a big night already, but to see his son score a try, as he's just pointed out to all the people sitting around him, that's my lad.
And here come England again. That's great footwork from Widdop. And Widdop has got support with him, Bridge to Tompkins. And England over for the third try. Beautiful footwork from Gareth Widdop. He split the French open, and there was support on his shoulder. And in the end, Sam Tompkins, he gets over for the third England try. Well, Widdop has shone like a beacon in the opening quarter of an hour here, and he's not been backed up badly by the likes of Tompkins with those towering kicks, and now that try.
Classy stuff, wasn't it? Big hit, but they got the ball away. Look at the step, in and out, took the dummy. Look how cool he is. Brings him through. Oh, good work by Bridge. Committed himself, and great support play by Sam Tompkins. Watch Burgess, even though it's a big hit from Ferriol, he took it, offloaded, through the dummy. Look how he goes on the arc. That is style. That is a wonderful try. Great combination. They're running hot, England. It was expected.
It was expected. Tompkins with the latest try. He's got 10 this year for Wigan. And he was the 3-try man of the match against Wales last year, the 2009 Young Player of the Year. This is the simplest conversion that Sinfield's had all night, and England lead here by 18 points to 0. And just a line, by the way, about Gareth Widdop, who set up that try for Sam Tompkins. Widdop, all being well, will be featured on Brian Carney's Super League Supermen show on Thursday night after the championship match here, by the way, involving Lee. Gareth Widdop will be the shooting star, hopefully, that Brian Carney will feature, and Rob Burrow will be the guest in the studio. That's Thursday.
He's a talent, that is for sure, and that was one of the major reasons, you know, Steve McNamara, a lot of people thought perhaps, you know, with only a couple of games at top level under his belt, but in the lower regions down in Australia, has been an absolute star. He's also very good with the goal-kicking department as well. But sometimes you make your debut, it can be a bag of nerves. Other times, you can just be so confident. I think we've got a very confident full-back at the moment.
Have we found, Phil, the English Billy Slater?
Wow, it's a big call. It's a massive call, isn't it, when we've seen somebody play for 15 minutes. And we probably won't see him play. Well, we won't get to see him play, and he won't get to meet any of the English teammates until the end of the season. So very hard, isn't it, to integrate yourself into a side and a squad when we meet so rarely. But I'm also fascinated about Tom Briscoe on the right wing in number 2. You know, he was taken off the field at half-time when England lost to Australia at the end of October last year. He's now back on there, trying to be rehabilitated back into it. He was a talented player. Don't forget, Peter Fox replaced him in the remaining games of the Four Nations. But I do think he is just equally as exciting as Gareth Widdop. We just haven't quite seen it as much in the opening of this match.
Drive forward here by Sebastian Ragan. And he gets a penalty because there was a bit of messing around going on by the English captain, Jamie Peacock, on the floor.
It's important now that the French consolidate. They've got to really camp down and apply the pressure. They've only done it once in this game so far.
Ferriol goes straight over the top of Sam Burgess. That's Muniz. Fires the pass to Munoz. Munoz looks for movement either side of him. This is Bentley. Winning his 3rd cap tonight, Andrew Bentley. Muniz again is the dummy half. Comes deep. Good defence from England. That's Vilgasset, dummy half, and here is Jamal Fakir. Slips the short pass to Remy Casny, and there's a chance here, and there's a try for Bentley. The French are over the line.
Good effort as well. Neat offload. Not really a big smile on the French coach Bobby Goulding's face, but he'll be happy with that, and so will the man, Andrew Bentley.
It all came about as a result of the penalty given away by the English defence. And Bentley, well, over next to the posts for France. He is, by the way, a New Zealander by birth, but he's lived all of his life in France.
Interfering, you can see there Peacock all over the top, not allowing him to get on with it. It's a silly penalty to give away when you were leading 18-0, but full credit. It's a beautiful offload by Remy Casty. And Steve McNamara perhaps will get the message out and say, hey, come on, we've scored 3 quick tries, but we've got to really work hard in defence. Yeah.
Well, not much emotion because his team at that point were 18-0 down. It's 18-4. This kick to come from Gregory Muniz in front of the posts. Muniz in the side, hammered by England in Paris last June. And he makes it 18 points to 6. A lot more respectable than 18-0, Terry.
It's sheer effort by the forwards from this French outfit. They're going with a running set of forwards. They know that they've got to take them up the middle of the park. That's where the strength is. Jamie Peacock will be trying to rally his troops. They will not be happy that they've conceded a try. But I was looking at the French in that set of 6, and the 6, 7 and the 9, they're not controlling the game. There's no one organising anything.
They might not have done, but they had 2 very skillful forwards, didn't they, with what Jamal Fakir did.
That's what I mean.
And then the offload to follow that, a really excellent play by 2 forwards, you know, not prepared to just take the tackle, but wanting to keep the ball alive.
For France to get back into this game, the only way that they're going to do that is by taking them on in the forwards.
Olivier Ellemer had to shade his eyes from the sunlight then as he took the kick off from Sinfield. And at dummy half is the Lesignan halfback Nicolas Munoz. But that was Muniz. Gets the ball away. That's great defence from Burgess and O'Loughlin. Ferriol was going nowhere, only to the ground there. Here's the try scorer again. It's Bentley.
And again, you see the problems that they're having of the French outfit getting over the advantage. Nice little kick here from Muniz. It's right down the throat of Gareth Widdop.
Widdop will try and run this ball back. And he runs laterally and then straightens it up. Bentley was up to the task. So too was Muniz. Sinfield, and here's Gareth Ellis trying to break the tackle. Ellis setting it alight the NRL apparently with the West Tigers. Burgess doing the same with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Here is Sinfield. They go wide And this is Ryan Hall of the Leeds Rhinos. Shenton is the dummy half of the Castleford Tigers. Shenton tries to go through the gap, but it was quickly closed. This now is Graham. Back it comes to Tompkins. That's Brown. He's through the gap on the deck though and forward.
Yeah, he just couldn't get it away in time, but another great build-up from England. Utilisation of the big prop forward James Graham, just as he's often utilised at St Helens, of course. Not just a battering ram, but he can be a very good distributor. First header from Kevin Brown.
Outstanding season so far for the Giants, though. The former Wigan man, he went to Huddersfield in 2006. Todd Carney didn't materialise last year, so he made the number 6 jersey his own at the Gal Farm Stadium.
He's all class. He's a very, very good rugby league footballer, and he can distribute the ball as we've already seen. Not on that occasion.
Wonder if he's still got the wristwatch that you bought him all those years ago, Steve-o, when he was man of the match, or your man of the match at Nosey Road for Wigan against Saints.
Actually, I know where that watch is. He very, very proudly handed it to his father, who I bumped into only a couple of days ago. And
7 years ago, do you know?
It will have been a top quality one, Eddie. It will still be going.
Yes, the battery will still be going strong. There's no doubt about that.
Okay.
If I know Steve, I would have broke after 6 months.
No, I didn't get it out of an Easter egg. It was a proper one. That's a good chase, but again, look at the quality of this kid.
Are we building him up too early? 22.5 minutes of his international debut gone. Scored a try, a couple of nice runs, a couple of good takes, but are we maybe making too much of him? Let's not put too much pressure on him, fellas.
No, we know he's playing an international and he's playing well. It's as simple as that. We're not making it up. The kid is playing well.
And Fakir is penalised here, I think, for not clearing the ruck quickly enough for Leon Williamson's liking. So here come England again with Kevin Sinfield. He pops the ball up into the arms of Gareth Ellis. Second season in the NRL at West Tigers. Sinfield to Tompkins. Here's Brown. Back he comes to Widdop. Oh, now then, was there a little stutter then from Widdop? Did he pick up a bit of an injury or something as he picked up that pass?
Yeah, he seemed to stop, didn't he? Yeah, it seemed to come a little bit earlier. Kevin Brown was looking for coming a little bit later on the arc.
But again, he might have lost the boot a bit there, Steve. Maybe the boot came off. But anyway, here is O'Loughlin, and that's well taken by Tompkins, one-handed, just drifting through the tackles. We'll play it here. Back it comes to O'Loughlin. They go wide, and on the bounce to Ryan Hall. And Hall gets through almost 2 tackles. Last one here for England. It comes back to Sinfield, who kicked the ball crossfield, looking for Bridge. He finds Bridge, and Bridge keeps the ball going to Burgess. And did I hear the referee shout 0 tackle then? He's wiped the tackle count down, and that's why he took the tackle then from Muniz, did Sam Tompkins. This is Ellis, he's in touch, that's good French defence.
Certainly is.
Burgess it was.
Olivia Ellimer coming over the top, making sure that the big fella got to it. I'm not so sure that it was touched by a French player, but according to the New Zealand referee, Leon Williamson, it had.
You know, in the previous couple of minutes, there've been some very poor passing, Eddie, by the English players. I don't say very poor, but it was 6 to 12 inches from where it needed to be. One actually went over the head of one of his players from a pass from the acting halfback, and that would be the disappointing element, that the skill factor isn't high enough here. Okay, they'll be good enough to beat their opponents on show, but over the last 5 minutes, the skill element has dropped, and that's a concern when you go into the second quarter of a match.
Is it a drop in the intensity, do you think, because they had an 18-0 lead that's just gone to 18-6?
I don't think so, because you look at the intensity of Sean O'Loughlin's tackling, and that's not dropped at all. But the passing quality has gone down in my estimation, and you know, that's obviously got to improve.
Bentley to drive it forward again. He's met by a gang tackle then, led by O'Loughlin once more. And here is Ferriol. I suppose in many ways they've just stopped the tide, the French, haven't they, with the try that they've scored.
And yet again
they've defended in the last 10 minutes or so.
And
Well,
again,
let's try and enlighten everybody what happened to Gareth Widdop. That is, his foot had just come out of the boot. That's why he came to a stuttering stop in the middle of the field. No injury, that's good.
Holding, go.
Ellis.
Don't use his head.
I think the English lads are quite content just to drive the forwards in, know that they've got the quality out wide.
Roby's out there now. He's just found Graham, who finds Tompkins, who finds O'Loughlin. And the flick out of the back door is a gift for Nicolas Munoz. Here now is Vakary. England just a little bit off the pace at the moment, just a little bit off the boil.
Go.
Now it's important now that the French outfit, when they get into a good position, they're really, instead of trying to get it high, they want to kick into the corner and then try to force the error after the scrum.
4, let him go. Holding.
Muniz again at dummy half.
5 last.
The England substitutes, Morley and Roby and Westwood are on. That's a good ball out wide. Here is Vakary, stabs it through. Oh, it's over the head of Gareth Widdop. The bounce has beaten it. Oh, and Ellimer has not managed to ground the ball.
To be fair, it was bouncing all over the place. It did not go right for him. But it was good play by Vakary. And a lovely pass out wide, and you can see there that Bridge was left a little bit exposed.
Holding, go.
It's a great example of, Eddie, what can happen if you run the ball on the last tackle. The opposition winger usually drops back. That's how he found the space. And then you kick it when the option comes to an end and see what happens in it. A pity for the French that they didn't quite manage to ground it.
Back here.
Yes, it's a little fright for England, and there is a mistake by England. That's a knock-on from Shenton.
No advantage here, boys. No advantage.
Well, they built an 18-0 lead up. They were looking very, very impressive, and suddenly they've just dropped off the pace. Joel Tompkins' pass.
And again, Eddie, the pass went behind the player, didn't it? If we see it again, he just had to turn to his side, not rather in front of the man. And it's the small things that add up to make the big difference in this sport.
It's just the execution of the pass, isn't it, Phil? But the good thing for England, the amount of players that are pushing up in support, people don't realise that that's a big part of the game, and it's an honesty play.
The French have the possession from the scrum. Here is Munoz again, and he gets the ball away. Now a test again of the English defence coming up here. That's Munoz and the substitute, Matthew Griffey.
2, move. Wait.
Ellimer, the French captain, will take it forward as far as Ben Westwood.
Move, markers.
It's Muniz again at dummy half. It's Gigot who's seen a hole up the middle. Graham quickly filled it and has lost the ball.
It'll be one.
Big hit there, wasn't it, by Graham? And oh, look at the sidestepping skills there, Sam Tompkins.
Is it an attempt at an offload, do you think, from Tony Guichot?
I think you're right.
Staying to the side.
Messing around at
all over him, Nicolas Munoz.
You could see he was trying to turtle him. It was always going to be a difficult task, though, wasn't it? Good on you, supporting. Maybe an ice cream rather than an autograph from maybe Kevin Sinfield, perhaps. But it's been a good crowd, Eddie. But I must say, they're enjoying the sun, but there's not a great deal of atmosphere, is there?
No, it's true, but it's healthy, and whenever England are on the French line, they get behind them, and they're going to get behind them here because the referee Leon Williamson has blown for offside against the French.
Well, surely it's going to be a tap.
Before you go.
One drive and then putting in the set move.
Let me get in position.
We haven't seen a switch coming from the English outfit yet.
This is Morley. Oh, they must have heard you, Steve-O. The trumpet has sounded. He's trying to get them going. Roby back to Tompkins. Here is Brown. Not the best pass to Bridge. He did well, though, Bridge. First of all, to collect the ball and then extricate himself from the tackle. Good run from Chris Bridge.
And there's problems for Nicolas Munoz that was involved in that tackle on Bridge. Would you say it wasn't the best? Nice try. Nice try.
Second try for Sam Tompkins. 3 tries and man of the match against Wales last year for Sam Tomkins. 2 tries already here at the Leigh Sports Village. Well, he's a talent, there's no doubt about that. He maybe not got the likes of Eastman alongside him, as a lot of people were predicting, or Myler because of injury, but he is a talent. Look at that.
Well, he must have been about 6 inches off the ground as he made 3 metres forward. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's great. That's a tremendous individual effort. Wonderful. And still problems. Nicholas Munoz, the scrum half, still receiving treatment way back around about the 12-metre line. As if things weren't bad enough for the French coach Bobby Goulding, with so many of his stars injured. He now finds that Munoz in a lot of difficulty.
And of course they lost the catalyst for French Rugby League in many ways, Thomas Bosc, to injury. Gareth Widdop now is showing that he can kick a goal or two maybe. Sinfield off the field, so Widdop. He adds the extras. It's 24-6.
And isn't that the difference as well? That the injuries that we have, we can lose Eastman, we can lose Myler, we can bring Kevin Brown in. Munoz looks that he's trying to get back into the line.
Danny Maguire, of course, he was injured this week, and Kyle Eastman on the right of the screen. Obviously men for the future, but this is the injury, and I don't know what on earth it was that happened to Nicholas Munoz, but it looked serious. He's trying to run the injury off, though. And that's almost out on the full. Brilliantly caught by Tom Briscoe.
That's the second occasion he's done this and gone very, very close indeed. Twinkle toes. Now then, good solid work from the English forwards. That's what they need.
Adrian Morley on the ball for England, showing no signs of wanting to retire from international rugby league. 14-year international career for Adrian Morley now. It equals the record in terms of longevity of the great Gus Risman, 1932 to 1946 for Great Britain, of course. This is Brown starting his international career here on his debut.
Steve McNamara will be quite happy with this, Eddie, mainly due to the fact that they're playing to a pattern.
Oh, what a pass from Bridge. He was through the gap, and then a lovely slip pass out the back door. Briscoe did well to stay in the field of play, cut inside. Roby passes the ball quickly to Brown. He just slides it in behind the defence. Work here for England's defenders to do. They do it perfectly. Force the in-goal, drop out. Steve McNamara will be pleased with the opening 33, well, the majority of the opening 34 minutes.
Yeah, because they're playing to a very good pattern. You know, when you sort of realise that you've got the better of your opposition. Here's a kick from Kevin Brown, showing his utility and also chasing through and involved in the defence. Beautiful flick, wasn't it? Playing well, Chris Bridge. Had a tremendous season.
Having a fine season for Warrington,
yeah.
And of course now that he has decided to throw his cap into the English ring after his Irish international career, they've got a penalty here, England, for interference. Or was it offside?
No interference.
The signals from the referee are not Super League-esque.
Well, they're just messing around now. That you could see that Vakary, the winger, just got to it. Yeah, the point that I'm making is that when you know you've got the opposition and you think to yourself, a lot of the players, they just go a little bit more selfish, do things for themselves, but they're still playing as a unit in England.
Well, they've got 3 men out wide. One of them is Tomkins. He's on for the hat-trick. Tomkins gets the first half hat-trick against the French inside 35 minutes. Well, he's maintaining his international reputation. 5th cap for Tam Tomkins. He's only 21 years of age. And a 2nd hat-trick in England's colours inside the first 2 years of his international career. He's a talent.
Certainly is, but again, playing to that right pattern. Beautiful hands. Combination was good. Handled the ball on 2 occasions on that time. And I'm impressed by the fact that Kevin Brown is just being the man to get the link through He really is controlling things out there. He's having a fine game. So's this fella, his half-back partner. It's hat-trick time. Well done.
I think it's fair to say that the competition for a number 6 or 7 jersey in the England squad for the Four Nations at the end of the year is probably fiercer than in any other position, and I think that for that reason Sam Tomkins has decided, listen, I want to go down under and compete against Australia, New Zealand and Papua New Guinea when we get to the end of the season. I'm going to ensure that I play that well today that the coach can't leave me out. Obviously he needs to continue the form for the rest of the season, but you must certainly place a marker down if you perform to the level he has so far.
Widdop just misses with the conversion. 28 points to 6 though, England lead. It was an unexpected scoreline this in many ways.
Yeah, I think quite a lot of the crowd, they realise, but I think that they've been attracted by the fact that Steve McNamara bringing in 3 debut boys and having a look at the quality of this Gareth Widdop. Well, he's not let them down. In fact, nobody's letting them down out there. Good call.
Here goes Morley to drive it forward. Sam Tomkins, by the way, 2 hat-tricks for England. He's also scored 2 hat-tricks for the Wigan Warriors this year in the Super League. And I wonder whether Michael Maguire would be tempted to play him in the match at Wakefield tomorrow after this. And also, of course, Sean O'Loughlin, who is out there. I wonder if they'll be doubling up. The England coach certainly will be. Joel Tomkins might do as well. The England coach will be. He will be with the Bradford Bulls at the Crusaders tomorrow, which is our 3rd live match on Sky Sports this weekend. Lovely dink over the top from Tomkins and a lovely dink over the top from Widdop, and here's Tomkins for number 4. 4 tries for Sam Tomkins. That probably is the pick of them. A chip over the top, and applause from Kyle Eastman. And applause from everybody in this ground. A chip over the top from him originally. Gareth Widdop got to it. Gareth Widdop then chipped the defence again, and Tomkins went past him like a middle distance runner on a finishing straight, and Tomkins was over for his 4th try of the night.
Oozing in confidence, chip over. It's obviously going to be there. Wonderful work from Gareth Widdop again. He then put boot to ball. That is a great combination between 2 young stars, not of the future, but of now. Irrespective of who you're playing against and what the quality may be, that is of a higher standard. And the full-back and the half-back really have made a name for themselves so far in this first half. 4 tries from that fella.
Much to admire for England. Much to admire, albeit we also have to remember the standard of the opposition, because they're just a little bit on the back foot, the French, as they have been from the very first minute. It's 34 points to 6 though. Bill?
Eddie, a group of supporters in the stand behind those posts that Widdop has just successfully converted that try. Just having to eat their words at the moment, because just a few moments ago they were urging some of the crowd to stand up if you hate a certain club that plays in cherry and white. Well, they're now having to applaud a player who plays in cherry and white for 4 tries in the first half of the game.
Well, there's a lot of parochialism in rugby league. Some people say it's part and parcel of the business that we are in, that it's part and parcel of the attraction. Others say it is part and parcel of the reason why perhaps the game hasn't grown as it should have done in the years. But
Bit of an error there by James Graham has allowed the French to get it.
Of course, that parochialism also comes together in some of the most trying circumstances, as we've seen in Cumbria over the past fortnight. It's a great family, the rugby league family, but they are just a little bit envious of their neighbours at times, at club level. Here now, the French, though, on the attack. Good hands. Oh, that's a nice little step as well from Gossard. And Gossard is the man at dummy half. The ball comes back to Gigot. He then gives it to the big fellow, Jamal Fakir. That's the 4th tackle for France. They're 8 metres short of the line.
Keep your eye out for the big fella out wide, Elima.
Not the best pass. Gigot did well to get hold of that. And it's tidied up by Tomkins. And that's the half-time siren Bobby Goulding's men very much up against it, but they finish on the front foot in this first half, which is important for them. But England, Sam Tomkins, the hero of the first half without a shadow of a doubt. 4 tries for him and a perfect 4 as well. The first coming in the 14th minute, then he was the next try scorer, the next try scorer and the next try scorer. 34 points to 6. Just ahead of that, Widdop on his international debut and Tom Briscoe over in the corner as well. But there is the man of the half, no doubt about that. Sam Tomkins, 4 tries, and England lead here at Leigh Sports Village. It's 30.